Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Let's Play, I'm going to be beginning a playthrough of Red Dust Rebellion from Carmichael and GMT Games. Red Dust Rebellion is the 12th game in the Coin, or Counter-Insurgency, series of asymmetrical war games. Red Dust Rebellion features 4 playable factions and can be played 1 through 4 players. I'm going to be playing in Solitaire. Now, Red Dust Rebellion does have a solo bot called Curiosity Bot. However, I'm not going to be using that because I want to show off the game. I want to start at the beginning, setup, run through teaching the game, how each of the factions work, and it's better to do that kind of playing each side. Just know that if you pick up the game, there is a bot to play any or all of the factions. All right, let's get on the table for a closer look. All right, so just a heads up, this is going to be a fairly in-depth playthrough. So I'm going to take my time explaining the setup, take my time explaining the factions, different mechanisms in the game, and then when we dive into the playthrough part, which you can skip ahead to if you want to, I always have things on the timeline you can see how to skip ahead, but I'm also then going to describe what I'm doing, explaining everything as I go. Again, it's a fairly, I would say, probably considered a heavy game on the actual complexity scale. Maybe lower heavy, but it's definitely up there. There's just a lot of moving parts. There's a lot going on. So I'm going to take my time explaining everything. We'll run through the full preview, and then we'll dive into the actual playthrough itself. So looking at everything now, I have this set up for the initial setup. We have the board out here. There's a couple of things you guys can't really see. I wanted to focus on the board for the camera so you guys can focus on that. There are the player mats. Those are the things you can't see. So there's a player mat, although it's not a playable faction, for EarthGov to your left, Martian government, and corporations. So that is going to be the coin factions, those counterinsurgency factions, right, representing government and authority. And then on the right-hand side, you can see Red Dust Movement and Church of the Reclaimer. A faction mat on the back side, if you watch my recon unboxing, you'll see on the back side there's strategy tips, and then there's the setup. The setup is also in the rulebook, so you don't need the mat for that. But the front, you're going to keep the extra troops, rebels, whatever the case may be, on there, along with your faction's bases, the ones that have not been placed on Mars yet. Let's look at the board itself. So the board has a variety of different locations and tracks on it. So starting at the top left and working our way around, you can see we have Earth, Transit, and Phobos, and then Orbit. This is going to be the Aldrin Cycler. This is going to be the method by which you are moving satellites, troops from Earth, supplies, and population from Earth that'll be settling on Mars, starting in Earth, transiting, and moving along the way, one step at a time. Mars itself are these spaces here. So the circle spaces are going to be labyrinths. Those are going to be the cities on Mars. Underground, dome cities. It's abstracted a little bit there, but those are going to be the more highly populated areas. Outside of them, you have these desert spaces. Desert spaces generally going to have population as well. And then you have finally the wilderness, which is sort of the unpopulated tracts of Mars that just people have not gotten to yet. Remember, Red Dust Rebellion, the backstory, right? Reached the point where people are colonizing Mars, but Mars, you have Martians and people that live there that want to have their own government, their own self-determination. And then you have the current government forces that are saying, hey, you can't do that. We have our rules, we have our laws we have to follow. Within each of the locations, you're going to have a spot to mark whether it is leaning towards the opposition, which would be the insurgents, or leaning towards the support side, which is going to be coin, right, which is going to be the government. Then you have the green spot as population. You have something in there that is a spaceport, so if that's damaged, you can't travel with spaceports. And then there's empty spots that you can place additional population by housing them. Turn to turn, you have an event deck right here. And what you're going to be doing is when we start, we're going to have one card up that we can see that is the current card, and we'll have one that we can see that's coming next. So let's go ahead and look at what's going to be our first one here in our playthrough. So on this card here, there's a bunch of information, but it's fairly simple. So you have the actual name of the card, you have the card number, so you can look it up in the playbook. I believe it's a playbook that has information on all the cards to sort of clarify some things and provides a little backstory. You'll have the title of it, And then you're going to have, generally speaking, two events. There's going to be an unshaded event and a shaded event. The unshaded event, generally speaking, favors the coin factions or maybe one specific coin faction. And then the shaded event favors the insurgents or favors one insurgent faction specifically. And then up here is very important. This is the turn order. So on the very left here, that is not related to turn order. That is related to the flashpoint track. Flashpoint track is over here on the right of the board. When these numbers build up, and you can see there's a number there, right? So that will be a different number with each card. When it reaches the end, you're going to have what's called the flashpoint round. Basically, it's a thing where you are cycling the Aldrin cycler. You are determining dust storms, the ones that are on Mars, and then a variety of other things. It sort of is a way to reset turn to turn, right? You could call it, although the game doesn't keep track of turns that way, that kind of could be how you're looking at it. The last thing on the card that's obviously very, very important is that turn order I talked about. It's going to be randomized per turn, other than I believe Church of the Reclaimer is last on every card. So, depending on who is listed, that very first faction is going to be able to go. So in this case, it would be Red Dust Rebellion, then Corporation. You're only going to have two factions go per turn. And you say, well, Wayne, how come there's more than that? Because how it works is, say with this card, we have Red Dust Rebellion and Corporation, and say they both take a turn, they both take an action, and neither of them pass. So, looking at the top right of the board here, you have your eligible factions, you have the actions they're going to take, you have the second action that can be taken by the faction, and then ineligible factions, and then a spot for passing. So if we had Red Dust Rebellion first, and they went ahead and said, I'm going to do the event on the card, then the second up would be the corporations. They can either do that event, or that action, which is the faction operation plus may add a special activity, which we'll cover those in a second, or they could pass. Now, if they do take an action like this, what that means is then this card is done. You go to the next card. Well, both of these, right, are now ineligible because they just went, so they're going to move over to ineligible, and now you're going to have Mars Gov and Church of the Reclaimer can go. So the next card, I'm not going to flip it over yet, but they're going to go ahead and they'll have the option to go take their actions, or they can pass. Once that's done, you rotate, right, you flip through, so that you're keeping rotating on who is actually available. If you pass, you actually don't go to ineligible, you go right back to eligible. So it may end up, say, something like this, where there are 3 available. It just depends, turn to turn, card to card, how it ends up. Okay, so the factions. I mentioned the coin factions, right? Counter-Insurgency, the governments, and then the insurgents. You have white, which is going to Earth Glove, which is a non-playable faction. They are controlled, based on this track, this Earth Government Confidence track, by either the corporations, or Mars Gov, depending on where they are on this track. You have Martian government, owned, by the way, Earth Gov is white. Those are the white Earth Gov troops. Martian government is blue. You can see them out here, whether it is Mars Gov troops or Mars Gov bases. Black are the corporations. They have troops, bases, and they also have special ops, which are little units that are this shape. And you see an icon on the other side. I'll cover that in a second. Red Dust Movement are the reddish units here. And then Church of the Reclaimer are the orange units. On the backside of any of these shaped units, you're going to have an icon for that faction. That's going to show it's active. So when that icon is down, and generally speaking, when they're placed on Mars, they're going to be placed like this. So they are considered hidden or unactivated. Once this side comes up, they are activated, revealed. Generally, you're doing that so that they can take an action, but then that does make them vulnerable to the opponent factions. Now, each of the factions, asymmetrical powers generally, they have different goals though. So when it comes down to it, victory, right? How does it happen? How does it work? We can see at the very top of the map, we have this track goes all the way up to 50. This track, you're going to be keeping track of everything that is related to victory, along with resources as well. So, Mars Gov, how do they win? Simple. They need total support plus Earth Gov confidence, exceeding 34. It's right on the board. What does that mean, total support? Well, remember, each of the areas has either neutral, passive support, active support, or they're going to have passive opposition or active opposition. Mars Gov, they want people supporting them, right? They want the population. So they want to get as much passive support or even better active support as they can in the different locations on Mars. Combining that with that EarthGov confidence track, which the number on the left here, add that up, and you are moving their marker, hopefully for them, up to 34. Then during the dust storm round, not the flashpoint round that features rolling for dust storms, but the actual dust storm round, which are cards seeded through the deck in certain spaces or certain spots in the deck, then you will check for victory. All right, second, corporations. How do they win? Very simple, profits. They want profits, right? When they get to 36 profit, that's how they're gonna get a victory. How do they get profit? Different ways, but generally speaking, they are placing terraforming bases, so regular bases, and when their bases get flipped over, and you see the icon on the other side, that is going to be a terraforming base. They're going to earn profits. There's actions they can take to earn profits, etc. The point is, they want to go ahead and get that money. All right, moving over to the insurgents, red dust movement. What do they need? They need total opposition plus red dust bases on Mars exceeding 32. Opposition, remember I already talked about that, neutral, support, or opposition, right? So the opposite of Mars Gov, they want that opposition. They want that support for them or opposition to the current government combined with additional bases. So they want to get as many of their bases on the board anywhere they can. Finally, Church of the Reclaimer, their victory point or their way to have victory is having their Reclaimer bases on Mars plus controlled places greater than the enemy bases. So basically, you're looking at what spaces they control. For instance, they control the wilderness here, which control of an area is just determined by having more units in your faction than every other faction. And then they need to have as many bases as possible, and their victory token is right here. It has to be greater than the enemy bases. So basically, right, they need to kind of get a groundswell of support. They need to get a majority here so they can overwhelm the enemy. If they're more of their bases, more of their support, then they're going to go ahead and get a victory during that dust round. I'll cover each of the actions in detail as we actually play, but I kind of mentioned that during the sequence of play. When you are picking what you're doing, you have you can pick between doing your operation plus a special activity, just the operation, and then the event that is on the event card. So each faction is going to have operations they can pick from, and then depending on if they can, right, based on the sequence of play, they may have special activities that they can pair with those operations. Some special activities can only be with some operations. I'll cover that in detail when I do the playthrough, but an idea maybe the Mars Gov, the blue, can train. They pick a train operation. What does that mean? Purpose, they're placing troops and bolstering support. They can pick any location or any space with Mars Gov bases and labyrinths. So remember the circles, the cities, with coin control. They pay 3 resources per space where troops are placed. The only 2 factions that keep track of resources are Mars Gov and Red Dust Rebellion. Or Red Dust Movement, excuse me. Name of the game is Red Dust Rebellion. And then in each of those spaces that they picked and they paid for, they can place up to 4 of their troops. So the blue cubes. And then they may pacify in up to 1 selected space. Pacify is a special ability. It's all listed on the player cards. But it allows you to perform up to 2 of house, which is moving population into a space. Repair, which is repairing damage locations, which I know there's a couple to start with, like right up here. And then shifting that support level 1 towards support. So if it was in passive opposition, it'd go to neutral. If it was in passive support, it would become active support. You get the idea. Okay. Is that a lot? Yes. Is there a lot to the game? Yes, there is a lot to the game. So that's why I said this is going to be a big in-depth explanation, and I barely touched the surface of it. So I do think, though, you guys have a general idea of the board, the spaces, you know the factions, right? You have coin, you have the government, and you have the different 2 rebellion factions, 2 insurgent factions trying to take over Mars, trying to win people's favor, or in the corporation's goal, just make profits, right? They don't really care. They just want to make profits. So a little simplified, but hey, it's part of the game, right? You can only have so much detail in a game. So, okay, I think we're it to start the actual playthrough. let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll explain everything as I go, and we're going to have some fun with it. Okay, so let's get through the playthrough. All right, so the one thing I forgot to cover, hey, there's a lot to this game, like I said, so is the card. So two of the factions, Red Dust Movement, which I'm just going to call Red Dust or Dusters, and then Church of the Claimer, I always call Reclaimers. They have the Red Dust, or the Dusters, have campaign cards. So they start off with one campaign card. These are going to have special abilities, special aspects, change the rules. For instance, starting off this game, they're going to have Prison Labor Revolt. Penal labor forces strike back, reduce profits by 1 whenever a corporation base is placed. So we'll go ahead and put that there. And I'm just going to keep them right around this overflow box. That way I can kind of remind myself, and you guys can kind of see the cards in action as well. And then the Reclaimers, they have asset cards. So they start off with 3. These are the cards that they're going to use to pay. So these are the kind of the resources. They don't have resources on a track, but they just use cards instead. So, kind of same idea, just, different way to fillet a fish, I guess. So flip them over. There's also going to be resources, so like re-engineering, they can use for 4 resources, or sometimes they'll have a special ability in the bottom left. If discarded to claim first eligible, draw 1 asset card. So I believe I mentioned, the Church of the Claimer is pretty much going to be last on all the event cards, but if they want to move forward, they discard 1 card for each spot they move forward. So if they're like, hey, I want to take an action now, I'm ready to go, they can go ahead and do that if they have the cards available. Here's an event, so remote base, unknown armies, place a Reclaimer base and Reclaimer rebels in an unpopulated desert. So any of the desert spaces, right, including the wilderness, and that does not have population in it, an unpopulated desert. Okay, so it may be somewhere that is damaged, so there's no population left. Flip that base to its conversion center site and draw 1 card. Very nice. And hidden forces, resources 4, or if you're playing the rally action, if you're conducting a rally action, it counts as 5. Okay, and then let's go ahead and set these over here. All right, so I flipped over the second card. So those don't affect the flashpoint track yet. That'll be when we get to the third card in the playthrough here. So let's begin. First card, Arteries of Mars. So we can see, very first thing, we're going to want to see who is acting. So it is going to be the Dusters first. So they have their token right here. Then it'll be possibly Corporation, then Mars Gov, then Reclaimer. But again, it's only going to be 2 of them, right, on the card. So unless both first 2 pass, which they're not going to, you're not going to have the other guys are going to have to wait till the next card. Which, the nice thing is you can see the second card, so you can kind of plan ahead what your action is going to be. All right, so Arteries of Mars. So look at the events on here. The event that would favor Red Dust gets to go first. So the event that would favor them is Cut the Lines. Place 1 damage and 1 rebel, which a rebel is going to be, it's going to be for either the Red Dusters or it's going to be for the Reclaimers. It's going to be this unit here. Place 1 damage and 1 rebel in each of 2 labyrinths connected by a single maglev line. Maglev line are going to be the blue lines with the black on the outside. Then reduce red dust resources by 3. So the resources would start at 14, would reduce by 3. That's the event, or we can go ahead and take one of our many actions. We're going to go ahead and take an action. So Red Dusters here get to go first. We're going to go ahead and place our faction token. What do we want to do, right? Do we want to do, so we're not going to do the event, I've already decided. So I'm going to do a operation with special activity or not. I think I'm going to do with no special activity because I don't want to give too much power to the corp right now or whoever's going to come next. I'm going to go ahead and just focus, and I have one goal right now, which is to get more of my rebels out here on Mars. So first action operation only, no special activity. That's what we're going to pick. So we can pick one of our many operations. So we have, for the Red Dusters, you can do a rally, which is you're placing forces on Mars and you're upgrading bases. You can march, which is moving them around. You can attack, which removes enemy forces and damages infrastructure. Or you can campaign, which bolsters opposition and builds momentum. We're going to go ahead and rally. So we're going to place some forces and upgrade bases. All right, location, any populated space without support. So any of the spaces that have the green, that shows a population. A place like Tharsis Molus here, because there's damage on the population, it's considered unpopulated. There's no green spaces shown. Then you obviously no support, right? So passive support, active support. You don't want to see that blue. You don't want to see that blue. You want it to either be neutral or you want to see that nice friendly red for our dusters here. In each space, place one red dust rebel, remember, one of these, or you can replace two of them, if there's already two there, with a red dust base. If red dust base already there, you may instead either place red dust rebels up to the population plus the red dust bases, or flip all the red dust rebels to hidden. So if they had been active previously, they'd already been used with something, or they'd been revealed by coin, one of the coin factions, you can go ahead and flip them back over to their hidden side. Then you can upgrade one of your bases in the desert to dug in. So one resource, and the cost, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, one resource per space selected. Right now we have 14 resources. We don't want to spend them all at once, but we definitely want to go ahead and start getting some units out there. And one nice thing you can do is that the game does come with these pawns. You can keep track. So if you're in the middle of sort of operations, you want to know, hey, what am I doing here? What's happening? You can use these pawns here to kind of keep track of that. So let's go ahead and do our rally. So in each space, place one dust rebel or replace two with a base. We have a couple different spots. We could do a base if we really wanted to, but I don't think we're going to do that. Well, actually, we may. I see a couple different spots. Maybe we will do that. So yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and get after it here. So let's start off. I pick Noctis Labyrinths over here. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to put a token there to show that that's one of the spots we're going to pick. That is going to cost us a resource. And what I'm going to do is, because we have a base there already, we can place red dust rebels up to population plus the bases. So population is 1, bases is 1. So you go ahead and place 2, or we could place 1, or because we already have 2 there, we can place a base there, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and replace the 2 rebels that were there. Go ahead and put them on our mat. And we're going to grab one of our bases, and we're going to go ahead and place it out here on Noctis Labyrinth. So each of the locations, by the way, that's out in the desert or in the wilderness here, has a spot for you can go ahead and put your base. In the labyrinths themselves, there's just not enough room, so you just go ahead and place it in there. All right, red dust placed a base. So we know that our plus bases, right, is going up by 1. Plus enemy bases goes up by 1. And those are those things that you can recheck. I generally recheck every couple cards, just recount everything, make sure that I have the victory points and all the tokens exactly where they should be. All right, let's continue on. So we want to place, let's see here. Let's go ahead and see Alpheus Colas here. Let's put one there. So that is going to cost a resource. We're going to go ahead and place Red Dust Rebels. We have a base, right? So we can do base plus population. So that's 2. So we can go ahead and place 2 rebels. Now, next turn, or any future turn, when we want to, we already have 3 there. We go ahead and replace, remember, 2 of them and make a base. So let's continue around, see where else we have forces at. Remember, just beefing up our forces here. Let's look at Shepherd over here. Let's do that. Shepherd. Let's select Shepherd. We will spend a resource. And we're going to place rebels. We're not going to replace those 2 mill to base. We're going to actually replace more rebels. So, oh no, it'd only be 1, wouldn't it? Or replace 2 with the base. Shoot, since we only have, let's actually do that then. So we'll go ahead and replace these 2. And build a base there. All right, which, again, builds our bases up. And enemy bases goes up by 1. Let's do, should we keep going, guys? What do you think? I think we should. Let's do, we have Redao Desert Space up here. Let's go ahead and activate for rally there. We have a base, so, but there's no population. So either way, it'd only be 1, but that's okay. So we spend our resource because we picked that location, and we'll go ahead and place 1 rebel. Keep it going, keep it going. Where else should we place some rebels here? Let's go ahead, or, should we do up here in Gandhi? Yeah, let's do Gandhi here. So we'll place there, spend a resource. If RD base, which we have one, may instead either place rebels up to population plus RD base. So 1, 2, 3. So we can place up to 3. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to build up our forces over here. And I think that'll be it. I think because I don't want to spend too many resources here. So we'll call it right there. So we are done with our rally. So let's go ahead and just pick up our little tokens here. Get them out of the way. But I believe we still get to make, convert one of our bases in the desert to dug in. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll pick this one out here. We had placed one here, so I know one was already there, so let's do that. Okay, so that is it for Rally. Let's move on. So Red Dusters, they did the first action operation, which then, so the second faction that activates this turn can only do a limited operation. What is that? Is they get to pick from all their operations, but they can only take place in one space with some exceptions. I think the Reclaimers can do it in any space, but you get the idea. There's always some exceptions, right? You gotta love it. Okay, so now the Red Dusters went, so it's a corporation's turn. They can either pass or they can go ahead and do a limited operation. They get to go ahead and pick. What they're going to do is the Corp is going to do a limited operation. So go ahead and pick that. They say, yep, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then what they're going to pick is logistics. That is, for them, by the way, corporations, their operations are logistics, which is placing units, upgrading bases, and resolving the Aldrin Cycler. Secure, which is entering labyrinths and revealing rebels there. Recon, which is entering deserts and revealing rebels there. And assault, which is removing enemy forces. Generally speaking, it's going to be active enemy forces, the ones that have been revealed. They're going to do logistics because they're trying to get more men and resources to Mars. And then in the future, they'll be able to take actions with those security soldiers. So what they have, the black cubes are security, and the shaped ones here are special ops. Okay, so with operations, we already know what we can do. Place units, upgrade bases, resolve Aldrin Cycler. Location, Earth, transit, and any deserts. We get to go ahead and just pick. So starting off, we are going to pick Earth. So we can choose Earth, and we can go ahead and place up to 4 corp units, max of 1 special ops, though, so you can't pick all special ops. So we'll do 1 special ops and 3 security, and we'll go ahead and place them on Earth. We're going to go ahead and conduct the transit, which is resolve the Aldrin Cycler, with the population optional, which that means everything that is in transit is going to go ahead and move to the Aldrin Cycler. I'll run through it here. So all pieces in transit move to Phobos here, which right now is a whole bunch. All population markers now on Phobos go to displaced population, which there are none. And these are the yellow markers here. All satellites on Phobos go to orbit. We increase the Mars Gov resources, the blue faction, by 3 for each supply marker now on Phobos, and then remove them. So 1, 2, 3, so 9. So Mars Gov resources were at 18, so they go up to 27. We move population marker from Earth to transit, if possible. However, remember, it is optional for a corporation here during logistics. They choose not to. And then the Earth Gov controller, which is determined, right, by Earth government confidence. And if it's higher, it's going to be Mars Gov. If it's lower, it's going to be corporation. Right now it's at 1 here, the top 1 spot, so it's corporation. So the corporation, which is who's active right now, which faction, right, they control the Earth Gov. They get to choose 5 pieces that are on Earth, other than population pieces, not that they don't want to anyway, and then move them to transit. Oops, and then he gets moved to transit too. All of them get to go to Phobos. So 5 pieces, so they're definitely going to go ahead and pick their 2 spec ops, because that's kind of their most powerful unit. And then they're going to go ahead and pick 3 of their security. So, and then corporations, which we are, they may reduce profits, if you have any, at a rate of 1 per piece to move any additional pieces, except population, from Earth to transit. We have 0 profits, so we can't do that right now. Anyway. All right, so we did Earth, we did transit. Now we can go ahead and, if we want to, pick any desert. So in a desert location, you can upgrade one corp base to terraforming. Then you can place one security on any corporation base at a cost of 1 profit per security place, which you have no profit, so you're not going to be placing any security. So you would look at your bases out here. So remember, corporations want profit, right? Well, terraforming bases provide profit during all of the flashpoint rounds. So those are bases that are in the desert. So if you have, which right now there are no there's one corporation base in Shenzhou, that will not help. It'll help later, but it does not help during all the flashpoint rounds. But you can see there's corporation bases in Marth, down in here in Hella Chaos. Those ones will help. So let's go ahead down here in Hellas Chaos. We can go ahead, so we'll pick that desert space. We can upgrade this corp base to a terraforming. So simple, very simple. We just go ahead and flip him over so that the printed side is up. And now I know that during the flashpoint round, it is going to increase the corporation's profit. And that's it. We don't have any more money to spend. We're not going to place any more additional forces, anything like that. That is it for the corporation. So that's it for the 2 factions that are going to get to go on this event card. So that event card is complete. So what do? Very simple. The 2 factions that acted, go ahead and move them over to ineligible factions. And now we have the 2 that are eligible. We will go ahead and move this card over. So this card is done. We'll move Bicentennial Day over. We will flip and reveal the next card, which is Red Wednesday Riots. We check the flashpoint number, which is 4. Ooh, way up there. So the flashpoint marker goes all the way up to 4. And now the next time we have any more flashpoint numbers on a card, it'll move it all the way to the spot here, no matter what. Well, we're only 1 away anyway. And then we will conduct the flashpoint round, which will run through. But for now, you have Bicentennial Day. And you can see here, it is MarsGov, Corporation, Red Dust, and Reclaimers. So MarsGov, they are available, so they would go first, unless the Reclaimers, who are also decided to discard some cards, to go. Now, because the only other option eligible faction is MarsGov, they would only have to discard 1 to move ahead of MarsGov. All right, so Bicentennial Day card is active. The event, the MarsGov gets to go first, or can pass. The events for coin are shift any 2 spaces 1 level each towards active support. Plus, you would flip the Earth Governance Confidence marker to EG+. So, see how the marker has EG- on it right now? The other side is EG+. During the flashpoint round, you're going to be checking whether it's on the negative or the positive. If it's negative, this token is going to be moved down 1. If it's positive, it's going to be moved up 1. So MarsGov, they always want it positive, generally speaking, every turn. Corporations, well, they want to keep it within here. And then finally, the insurgents, they would like no controller, right? Because then EarthGov troops are available, and then any satellites in orbit go to Earth. So that reduces the resources available for the coin factions. Or MarsGov here can take one of their operations, or they can pass. What they're going to do is they are going to do that event, because they really like that event. So, first faction picks the event. So, we are going to do that. So, EG marker it goes to plus. It doesn't move yet. It just goes EG plus. 200 years of human achievement. Shift any 2 spaces 1 level each towards active support. So, first off, they're going to go ahead and pick Europa over here. So, if it's in passive, it flips to active support. That is going to give them 2 additional support, 1 for each of the populations. A space has 2 say Europa here is 2 populations. If you see passive support, each population counts as 1. Remember, we're keeping track of it up on the track, the victory point track at the top. And then when a area is at active support, each population counts as 2 support. So you're doubling up. So very nice. So they get to go ahead and get 2 more. So total support plus EarthGov Confidence was at 12. Now it goes to 14. And then they get to pick 1 more, right, to flip 1 over. So what they're going to do is they're going to pick Tereshkova here. Now it's neutral, so it'll just go to passive support. And so they gain 2 population, so they gain 2 more here. So they are tied with Red Dusters at 16. Ooh. And that is it for them. That's it for the event. So nice, fast, easy. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes terms are a lot longer. Sometimes they go by pretty quick. Okay, so now it is the Reclaimers. They're the last faction left. So even though they're the last in the card, right? They're the last one that's eligible. None of them can go. So they get to go ahead and do what they want to do, with the idea that depending on what is available, which luckily for them, because MarsGov picked the event, they can do an operation and they may add a special activity, which they're definitely going to do. Okay, so Reclaimer activities or operations. They can do rally, which is place forces and upgrade bases. They can travel, which they get to move their forces around. They can attack, remove enemy forces, damage infrastructure, or preach, neutralize support / opposition, and recruit more rebels. They're going to go ahead and pick rally. So rally, and then because they do have the option for add special activity, special activities with rally are purify or ransack. Purify is replacing enemy forces. Ransack is drawing asset cards. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go ahead and do the rally first. So, place forces and upgrade bases. Any neutral space on Mars. So, remember, neutral, right? Opposition, support. They want neutral. The Reclaimers are not interested necessarily in the the support, the opposition. They want things neutral because they just want to convert people to their ideas, their mindset, their way of life. One resource per space selected, and remember they don't have resources on the track, they have their cards. The nice thing is for us, as operating as the Reclaimer faction, is we have this Hidden Forces card, so resources are 4, other than if you're doing a rally, which we are, it's 5, so they get 5 resources. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 5 of the pawns. I think I call them tokens, or call them whatever you want, doesn't matter. We have 5 of these pawns here to show that I have 5 spaces. And then I will play or discard that card. Let's put them here so we don't get confused on where we're doing them. Okay. Procedure. In each space, you place, so every space, we place 1 rebel or replace 2 with a base. If there's a base there, you can either place rebels up to population plus bases, or flip all the rebels there to hidden, or upgrade 1 base to a conversion center and draw on 1 asset card. Simple? Yeah, right. Don't worry. We'll keep playing and it'll start clicking. It'll start working. It'll start clicking. All right. So first off, we definitely want to pick the wilderness. We always basically want to pick the wilderness. We want to get it beefed up, as many rebels and then as many bases as possible. So picking the wilderness here, we can place 1 rebel, or we can replace 2 of them with a base. If a base is already there, which there is 1, we can instead place rebels up to the population, which unfortunately the wilderness has population of 0 plus bases, so right now there'll only be 1, or flip them to hidden, or upgrade a base to conversion center. What we're going to do is we're going to place 2 with a base. So 2 of them are going to go back on our card, and we will place a base out. The Reclaimers, you want to get as many bases. Remember, you win by controlled areas plus bases greater than enemy bases. So you want to get as many bases out as you can, as fast as you can. And then you do want to try to take control of areas. Generally speaking, you're probably going to be trying to take control of desert areas. Okay, so that is the wilderness. We activated there. Let's go ahead and do, let's see. Where else was I looking? Well, no, we'll do the rally also in, let's do Corne Montes here. We'll go ahead and pick there. So there is a base. So we can place rebels up to population plus bases, which unfortunately population damaged. There's no base there. Excuse me. It's just two of our rebels. We're gonna put a base there though, is what I'm trying to get at. Oh jeez. So both of those. And we will go ahead and put up over here Anna's Craze Mons. Go ahead and replace those 2 with a base. Which, what did I do? I've placed 1, 2, 3 bases so far. So let's go ahead and move our marker up. 1, 2, 3 to 10. And then we got 2 more to go. So we can go ahead and do, Where else at? We don't have a whole lot of rebels left out there, which is definitely a little bit of a bummer. Let's go ahead and place here in Truvalot. We'll rally there. We'll go ahead and place 1 rebel, which then next time available we have 2, so we'll put a base there. And finally, last location, let's go ahead and in New Cordoba, let's go ahead and get some rebels though. So what we'll do is we'll rally, and if base, we can place rebels up to population plus base. So 1, 2, 3. So we can place up to 3. So we'll just get a bunch of rebels up in New Cordoba, which does give New Cordoba over to the Reclaimer control, which control plus bases, remember, goes up. Yep, perfect, at 11. Okay, all right, so that is it for the rally, because we did all of our locations. So we'll go ahead and remove the pawns. With the rally, we can do Purify or Ransack as our special activity. Remember, we're going to do an operation plus may add special activity. We're going to do Purify, which replace enemy forces, location up to 2 spaces with CR control and a hidden CR rebel, which I believe is 1 that will actually count for us to do it. Oh, I was going to do it here, but I went ahead and built a base, didn't I? Shoot. Oh, well, it is what it is. Hey, sometimes that happens. Kind of like to usually let things play. I usually don't like to go back and change it. So I was going to do it, actually had planned to do it in Corona Montes here as well. Remember, I had 2 rebels here, start converting them. Oh, well, it happened. So I'll be here in New Cordoba. We'll do a Purify. So we'll activate a hidden rebel, which we have many there to activate. So we'll activate 1 of them. So we just flip them over. That's how you activate them. To replace an enemy unit with a rebel. If a conversion center is there, it can replace 2. There we go. And so we'll replace 1 of these EarthGov forces. Sorry for you, buddy. And he goes over to available on the EarthGov mat. So didn't change anything else. Yeah, I wish I hadn't done that over here, because I wanted to start converting them too. So bummer on me, but again, hey, that's what happens, right? So I don't like to do takebacks. Usually, just let it roll. All right, that did not change anything over here. We're just sort of converting forces. We're getting ourselves in a position as reclaimers, right, to get as much control and bases as possible. And remove the pawn there. Okay, and that is it for them. So what you're going to do is that turn is over, right? So we are going to move MarsGov and Reclaimers over to eligible. We go ahead and move Red Dust and Corporation over to eligible. And we're going to move Red Wednesday over to the active event card. And we flip it next one over and we check the flashpoint. Oh, 3. So flashpoint marker goes to the flashpoint icon. And now we conduct the flashpoint round. All right, flashpoint round. The EarthGov controller is going to take some actions and the Reclaimer faction is going to take some actions. Because it's just me playing, I'm just going to run through each of them in turn. EarthGov controller, first off, the Aldrin Cycler. So move all pieces in transit to Phobos. Place all population markers on Phobos in displaced population. There are none. Move satellite markers on Phobos to orbit. There are none. Increase MarsGov resources by 3 for each supply marker. There are none. Move 1 population marker from Earth to transit if possible. So in this case, we will. EarthGov controller, which is corporation, chooses 5 other pieces, including satellites and supply markers, not population, to transit. So they're going to pick, and it's up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, they're going to just pick all these. So they're going to leave the supply. They don't particularly care about supply because the supply helps MarsGov. And then the corporations may reduce profits at a rate of 1 per piece to move any additional pieces except population from Earth to transit. They don't have any profits, so they can't. Plus, they don't care about supply. Corporate casualties. Reduce profits by 1 for each corporation base and by 1 for every 2 security and casualties, which there are no casualties right now. And then move all the corporation forces here, and casualties to available, so to their mat. By the way, one thing I did notice, I forgot kind of, but it didn't matter because they have no profits. It will matter in the future though. So prison labor revolt, right? The Red Dusters campaign card. Reduce profits by 1 whenever a corporation base is placed. I'd place like 3 bases, but profits are at 0 and it can't go into negative, so that wouldn't have come into play anyway. But yeah, it's sometimes trying to remember everything. There's a lot going on, right? So especially if we're playing Solitaire. Anyway, EarthGov confidence. move all satellites on Mars to orbit. So if I'd used any of the satellites, they get placed down in a space. It would go back up to orbit. Improve or degrade EarthGov confidence. One step is indicated by the marker. That's what I talk about, right? The plus or the minus. It's at the plus. Fortunately for MarsGov, so it goes up to here. It was one spot up. And then you add the pieces that are on here to Earth. So 4 EarthGov troops, 2 supply, and 1 population. And finally, for the EarthGov controllers actions during the Flashpoint round, terraforming. Increase profits by 2 for each desert with a corporate terraforming base, and then 1 for each additional terraforming base after the first in each desert. So, I believe they had 1, right? Yep, so down here, corporation had 1, so profits up to 2. Yay, they're rich. Remember, there has to be the ones that have the printed icon on it. The backside here don't count for that. And then you reduce profits by 1 for each conversion center in a desert, which there are none yet. Conversion centers are the reclaimer bases when they're flipped over to their icon side. Okay, so now the reclaimers conduct their actions here. You remove all raging storms. So I don't think I covered this in the setup, but there are going to be approaching storms and raging storms that happen that basically restrict movement in areas and can cause forces to be removed from Mars. So if there are any raging storms, which there are none, the game only starts with 2 storms. Unless you roll the same spot, then they're not going to be raging. So you roll for all. So if any of them are approaching, we do flip to raging. So now Alpheus Colas, which we'll check in a second here. And then Shepherd, we flip that over to raging storm. And then we roll for approaching storms equal to the number of times to the Flashpoint value of the next event card, or until they're all out here. It's 3. There's 4 left, so we'd only roll for 3 of them. Very simple. You roll these 2 dice, white first and black second, and it'll tell you where to put it. 1 and 3. So it'd be area Arabia Terra is 1 or 2 on the white die, and then 3 is going to be the location in here, which is right up here. We're now here, so we go ahead and place an approaching storm. And you just continue to roll 3 and 5. Tharsis Montes is 3, and then 3-5 is Daedalus Planum, one right there, and finally the last one, 3-1, so Tharsis Montes, and the 1 is Ascraeus Mons. Boom, approaching storm. All right. Attrition and conversion. So in unpopulated or raging storm deserts without a coin base, remove 1 MarsGov troop and 1 security if possible. So where do we have our raging storms? We have Shepherd and Alpheus Colas. There are no coin bases there. Also, though, you would check in unpopulated or raging storm deserts. The desert, obviously, so not Shepherd. But you would check to see if there are any red dust forces, and you would remove 1 rebel if they don't have a base. They have a base here to shelter in, so they're okay. That's the idea, right? They're sheltering from the storm. Just looking, those are the only 2 raging storms, right? Yep, so they're the only 2 you would even worry about. In populated spaces with a conversion center. So if we had, a populated space, so out here wouldn't count because the population's damage is not there, and the wilderness doesn't count. But say here in New Cordoba, 2 population, right? If the reclaimer base was a conversion center, you would go ahead and add a rebel there, but they do not get that. Okay, that's it. Reset the flashpoint track to 0 and continue play with the next event card. All right, so we are on the Red Wednesday Riots event card. Our 2 eligible factions are the Red Dusters and the Corporations. Looking on the card here, Corporation gets to go first if they want, and then Red Dusters would be second. Reading the events. For the coin event, Resistance Crushed, activate all Spec Ops and Rebels in 1 space with Spec Ops, then Corporation may free assault there. Remember, Spec Ops are these ones. Or for the Insurgents, event is a Day of Infamy. Red Dust may place up to 2 of their rebels in a labyrinth, then free ambush there. Flip all rebels in that labyrinth to hidden after the ambush. Ambush is executed. Corporation looking, they're not going to do Red Dust, or the event, because they don't have any Spec Ops on Mars yet, but they're about to. They have a whole bunch of troops up on Phobos, and they want to get them down to the surface. So, Corporation is going to go ahead and do a operation with special activity. So remember, their operations are logistics, which is placing units, upgrading bases, resolve alternate cycler. Not going to do that. Secure, enter labyrinths, and reveal rebels there. I think that's what they're going to do. They can do a recon, enter deserts, or assault any spaces with corp forces and enemy forces. That'll be the future. So for now, they're going to do a secure action or operation. So they're entering any labyrinths and revealing rebels there. Their location is any destination labyrinth. So remember, labyrinths are the circles, right? And then the procedure is move corporation units, corp units, to destination labyrinths from adjacent spaces along the maglev lines and between controlled spaceports. The spaceports are a big part of this game, you being able to use them for movement. The moving units, they must stop upon reaching enemy control. After moving, you activate 1 rebel for each corporation unit and may remove 1 security to available to place a corp base. Then you may house or repair in 1 destination. And you can use, as if you're the controller, you can use drop pods, which you're using a satellite, placing a location, and you can basically drop troops. So that would be a way to say, put troops, now in secure, you're going to a labyrinth, but say none of them are damaged right now, but you get a labyrinth that has a spaceport damage, you can use drop pods to drop your security and spec ops directly into that location. All right, so any destination labyrinths we want. So Phobos here, we have a whole bunch of soldiers up here, a whole bunch of troops ready to go. And what do you know, there's a spaceport. So we are going to be landing a whole bunch of security all over the place and saying, hello, Mars, we are here to stay. All right, first off, I think we're going to go ahead and pick Europa. I like that idea. So let's pick Europa. So let's go ahead and move 1 Spec Ops to Europa, along with, we do 2 security. I think that'll be enough. Yep, right there. And then let's go ahead and pick Shenzhou. I like that idea. Let's get some guys down there. So again, a Spec Ops, along with, let's do 2 security. And finally, where else should we go? Should we go over to Tenzing? I don't know if that's the move. Feel like maybe, or should we land in more of a hostile area just to start kind of seeing what we can do? Maybe we should do that. Let's do that. You know what? I don't like seeing all these dusters over here in Gandhi and Sharma. So let's go ahead and land in Sharma and see what we can do. So, oh wait, does it have to be, hang on. Nope, any destination labyrinth as long as we can move there, which we have a spaceport. So let's go ahead and move. And we will pick, let's go ahead and send. And down to Sharma. Oh, I've got, filling up the spot here. Also, we can do the EarthGov too, so let's go ahead and send, because we control them, right? So they're troops, so the EarthGov forces, along with our guys over here. And we'll leave 2 up in Phobos just for future use. Okay, I think that's it for secure. Okay, we moved them. And then after moving, activated 1 rebel for each corporation unit and may remove 1 security to place a corp base. I don't think I'm going to do that. And then you can house or repair in 1 destination. So I don't think I'm going to do that either. So hang on, let's activate a rebel, which you can activate 1 rebel for each corporation unit, which, let's see, Sharma here, we placed 3, 4, 5. So we can activate all 3 of the red dusters here. We placed over in Europa. There are none. And then up in Shenzhou, which there's just the 1. So reveal. And then we can do public relations or raid, the special activity, right? So public relations is repair our house and gain profits. And then raid is strike with hidden spec ops. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is the public relations. We want to start getting some more money here. So locations is up to 2 spaces with coin control and security. Go ahead and remove our pawns here. All right, so up to 2 spaces with coin control and security. So coin control, right? So the blue markers. I don't think any of them have changed over time. That's actually no longer red dust control. It's tied. So it's usually what I like to do is kind of double check here and there and make sure, okay, all the control markers are still the appropriate ones. Looks like they are. Okay. Coin control and security. We get to do 2 spaces. Repair our house, and we can pick any ones we want. So let's go ahead and coin control. Now, we don't necessarily want to help out the Mars Gov, right? We want to help out ourselves as much as we can. Coin control security here, and then was that it? Just the one? Oh, no, right over here in Marth. Okay, perfect. Okay, so these 2, so Marth and Hellas Chaos, both spaces are under coin control and have security available. Security, right, are the black cubes. Repair any number of times, getting 2 profits for each damage repaired. How's repair work? Very simple. So we repair locations, so say in Marth here, we remove the damage marker. Now we have to fill that population space. So one of these displaced populations is discarded, basically to show that they are moving into that location in Marth. When that happens, right, we get to increase our profits by 2, right? We're getting 2 profits for each damage repaired. Yep. And then may house in 1 selected space as well. Ooh, I kind of like that. So then may house in 1 selected space. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and do the repair. So boom, right down here as well. And Hell's Chaos. And profits go up by 2, so now they're up to 6. So we get a few bucks now. And then we may house in 1 selected space, which a house is simply adding, if there's any displaced population, adding them to one of the gray areas at the end of a track. If in each space where repair a house occurred, if red dust is present, they lose 3 resources, and if reclaimers are present, they must discard 1 asset card. Ooh, I like that idea. Then may house in 1 selected space. Oh, so one of the 2 spaces we can house in. So here or here, which there are no enemy forces there. We don't want to do that. That doesn't really help us, so we're not going to do that. Okay, if there had been the enemy forces, it may have helped, but we're not going to. Okay, so that is it for the corporations. They did their action here. So we go to the Dusters. Are they going to pass? Are they going to do something? I think they're going to do the event, I think is what they like. So Red Dust Rebellion, go ahead and we can do a limited operation or event or pass. Let's do the event. A Day of Infamy. Red Dust may place up to 2 rebels in a labyrinth, then free ambush there. Flip all rebels in that labyrinth to hidden after the ambush is executed. They're going to pick Tereshkova over here. So they're going to grab 2 of their rebels, place them in Tereshkova, and then free ambush. What is an ambush? Well, an ambush is a type of attack. So pretty much all, I believe it's all the factions. Oh, no, just the attack is what the insurgents do. The coin's called assault. But anyway, insurgents will do an attack. So an attack is you're removing enemy forces and damaging infrastructure. A space with enemy forces and, right here, it's in Tereshkova, over here, Labyrinth, and RD rebels, which we have. Resource cost, but if it's an event, it's a free ambush, so we're not have to pay any resources for it. Procedure. In each space, activate all the rebels and roll 2 dice. If the sum is equal to or less than the total forces present, you place a damage. Then each die result equal to or less than the number of already rebels removes 1 EarthGov troop or 2 other enemy forces. No hidden spec ops, and then bases last except hidden spec ops. And then any corporation or EarthGov go to casualties over here, which remember hurt them during the flashpoint round. But this is an ambush, free ambush. So what it is, an ambush is a modified attack, which basically it ensures a successful attack you get to go ahead and pick the die. It activates one hidden rebel and may only, and sets each die, activates one hidden rebel and only, and sets each die to any desired value instead of rolling. So, what does that mean? We're picking Tereshkova. Break it down, right? We're going to activate a rebel. It's an ambush. So, it actually only activates one, not all three, because it's an ambush. And then we get to pick, instead of rolling the dice for the attack, we get to go ahead and set the value to what we want. Now remember, if the sum is equal to or less than the total forces present, you place a damage, which we want to place a damage. So total forces present obviously are 3. So we want to go ahead and put 1 and 1. So the sum, right, so that's 2. It's equal to or less than 3. So that is going to place a damage. So we grab a damage marker and place it on Tereshkova here, which Tereshkova here, as you can see, has a spaceport, is now damaged, and they lose a population, which their passive support then goes down for Marsgov. Then each die result equal to or less than the number of RD rebels present, which there's 3 present, so both die, removes 1 EarthGov troop or 2 enemy forces each. There are only 2 enemy forces, so 2 Marsgov, so they are removed. Remember, if it's corporation or EarthGov, it goes to casualties. Marsgov do not go to casualties, they just go to available. So now it's also, Tereshkova is no longer coin control, it is now red dust control as well. Not too shabby for old red dusters over here, huh? All right, and that was the event. They went in and did that, so they are done. So that event card is done. So they are moved over to ineligible. Marsgov and Reclaimers goes to eligible factions. Now, you've seen sort of these same 2 kind of go back and forth, but all it takes is somebody maybe moving their where they're going or passing, and then suddenly things are going to start changing on who is going each turn, each card. So now we move over the Security of Mars Act event. And we check the next one, bombing of Maglev 77. Check the flashpoint number, it's 0, so the number does not move up. So we're not going to have a flashpoint round anytime soon. But let's go ahead and activate the Security of Mars Act and get going here. All right, so the current event, it's going to be Marsgov first, of course, and then Reclaimers last for the 2 that are eligible, and unless, again, 1 or both pass. For the events, activate all rebels, so find them and destroy them. Activate all rebels in 1 labyrinth. The rebel faction with the most forces in that labyrinth is ineligible through the next event round. That's a good event. And then the insurgent or rebel event would be stand down. Move 4 Marsgov or corporation cubes from each of up to 2 labyrinths to any spaces with coin bases. So you move them, get them out of the labyrinths, get them towards bases, whatever, kind of, get them away from coming after you. Now, it's the Marsgov to go first, so do they want to do that I feel like pretty badass event, or do they want to do something else? I think they're going to do an event. I think it's working that event. So let's go ahead and place them first faction event. Find them and destroy them. Activate all rebels in 1 labyrinth. So they could be, say, in Gandhi, whole bunch of rebels, red dust rebels, or I think what they're going to do is they're going to pick New Cordoba up here. So activate all, in fact, the most force in that labyrinth is ineligible. Activate all rebels. So everyone's activated, so no matter what. And then the most forces in that labyrinth, which is the Reclaimers, orange, right, is ineligible through the next event round. So they're not going to get to go now, and they're not going to go next during the bombing of Maglev 77. So I like to just place it right at the bottom, very bottom in eligible factions. That's why I also put the other 2 up here. Because, well, this is it for the card, right? So Marsgov went, that was the event. If there was any other eligible faction, they could then go, right? Either pass or do the option here. But there are none. So that's it for the card. So we're going to go ahead and move our Marsgov over to ineligible factions, and we will move the Dusters and Corp over to eligible. And we move to the next card, the bombing of Maglev 77. Now, the Reclaimer, right, he didn't get to act last event, and he doesn't get to go this one, but now, through this one, he will be available for the next card, right? So that like to go ahead and just move him up to ineligible faction. That way to show that he will then get to activate next card, if that makes sense. All right, speaking of which, let's flip that over and reveal. Future of Law Enforcement. Flashpoint number is 3, so flashpoint goes up to 3. So probably the card after that, we'll have another flashpoint round. But we are on to Bombing of Maglev 77, which we have Corporation and Red Dusters available, which looks like Corp will be first and then Red Dust second. All right, so Bombing of Maglev 77. The 2 events. The coin event is Tip-Off Received. Move up to 6 security to a single space adjacent to a Maglev line. Activate all rebels in that space. Then Corp may free assault. And then the Insurgent event, Corporations Blamed. Select a Maglev line. Shift all adjacent spaces 1 level each towards active opposition. All right, so the Corporation gets to go first. I have a pretty good idea what they want to do. Remember, they placed all those forces last time around in some of the labyrinths. They want to get out to the desert, and they want to start kicking some butt. So they're going to do a recon, which is entering deserts and revealing rebels there. So I think we're just going to do that operation, though. Or should we do... Hang on, special activity. Actually, we probably do want to do the special activity, don't we? Yeah, let's do that. So with special activity, so our operation is going to be secure, which is, recon, which is enter deserts and reveal rebels there. Location, any destination desert. So move Corp units to destination deserts from adjacent spaces and from any controlled spaceports. Activate 1 rebel for each Corp unit, 1 for 2 in the wilderness, and may remove 1 security to available to place a Corp base. Then may house or repair in 1 destination. And then the EarthGov controller has navigation beacons, which I thought I remembered what they were, but now I cannot remember, so I'm gonna have to look it up quick. All right, yep, so my satellite's in orbit, right? I can go ahead and move them to a space to activate 2 rebels if I choose to. All right, so recon. Destination desert from adjacent spaces. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to, let's see, pick Europa here. And I think I can do, yep. So we'll do, pick Europa to Ascrace Mons. So we're going to move our Spec Ops along with, should we do 2 security and then an EarthGov? Actually, let's do everybody here. So 3 security and EarthGov and our Spec Ops to Ascrace Mons, which activate 1 rebel for each core unit. So, well, there are no rebel units. May remove 1 security to place a core base, then may house or repair. I can't do... Oh, I can't place a base there because they have 2 bases already. That's all right. Listen, they're there. So then next time around, we can go ahead and start whooping on them. Although there is an approaching storm. May have been a bad idea. Oh, well, it is what it is. We're going to find out shortly. All right, and then let's pick... Oh, definitely up in old Shenzhou up here, right? Yeah. Let's pick Shenzhou. Let's go ahead and start moving our security forces into Travelot. So we could move in either one of these. Move them right there. And now, with the recon, activate 1 rebel for each core unit, which we had a whole bunch of them. There's only 2 rebels, so we will activate both of them. May remove 1 security to place a base, which we will do. So we'll remove the security. It's not a casualty. We get to place 1 of our corporation bases here in the desert. Beautiful. Let's see, where else should we do? Oh, well, put them here actually. Should we move? Let's move. Trying to think of different areas to move. I kind of want to stay here in Sharma though, because I want to start. Yeah, I'll start kicking some butt here. Okay, so that's a raging storm. We can move into there if we do. We can use a navigation beacon, couldn't we? But we only have 2. There's 3 there. We won't do that. Let's move there. Move there. I guess up here, right? Yeah. So we'll go ahead and recons will move these to desert adjacent. We'll activate both of the red dusters. Remove one security to place a base. So we'll remove one of our securities and place a base. And then I did remember, or just remembered, I should say, that... Oh, and by the way, this is no longer under control of reclaimers. And then neither is this area either. Geez, they lost 2 of the control. That sucks. Thanks for them anyway. Oh, but I was going to say, the prison labor revolt, reduce profits whenever base is placed. We placed 1 base, correct? Or was it 2? 1 base, 2 base, 2 bases. So profits drop from 6 to 4. And then we may house or repair in 1 location. I don't think we'll do that. I don't know. They don't really like doing that because population support doesn't help them. I don't know why they would have to do that. But anyway, all right. So that was our recon. Perfect. And now we can do public relations or raid. Raid is strike with hidden spec ops. Up to 2 spaces, move in up to 2 hidden spec ops from adjacent spaces. Then may activate 1 to remove 1 troop or 2 other forces. So, for instance, we can activate here and remove both of these. Yep. Both these rebels. And then we can... here, no, what is it? Can we do bases? Bases last. We can. Who's been ops? We remove 1 hidden spec ops to remove 2 other forces. Ooh, so we can do here and remove both of these. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love that. Sucks to be reclaimers though, so they lose 2 bases as well. Dude, they just got rocked this turn. Dude, the corporation just rocked them. Took away control of some spaces, annihilated 2 bases. Yikes. I'd say poor reclaimers, but oh well, it happens. Yeah, they're doing the worst right now. Well, actually, technically, the corporation is because the profits are low, but you know, they're more of a build-up, right? They build up bases, they get tournament terraforming bases, and then they'll start rolling in the profits. So, okay, and that's it for the raid, right? Yep, that's it. So I think we'll call it there. Everything's done for them. Okay, beautiful. So now we go to Red Dusters. What are they going to do? They can do limited operation, an event, or pass. I think they're going to do the event. Looking at it, yeah, corporations blame. So they're going to pick the event. Select a maglev line. Shift all adjacent spaces 1 level each towards active opposition. That's a pretty badass one. So all adjacent spaces. That's a lot. So they're going to pick this line right here, maglev line between New Cordoba and Shenzhou, towards active opposition, which is going to be a whole lot of passive opposition because adjacent is Shenzhou, New Cordoba, Truvlat, Marth, and Rutherford. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all neutral. So that's 5 places are going to switch over to opposition. That's a good one. Good job, me. Okay, so starting off Shenzhou, which that adds 3 opposition. So where's opposition right here? 1, 2, 3. New Cordoba. That's 2. That's 2. Rutherford adds 1. Marth adds 1. And finally, Truvlat. Oh, that adds 0 because it's damage, but available for the future. Beautiful. So they're the closest to victory. So total opposition plus bases. So the Red Dusters, they're closest towards the victory check here. I don't think they're going to make it before the dust round, but they're the closest. Okay, that's it, right? Yeah, they did the event. That was it. So go ahead and move both of them over. So now it is Marsgov and Reclaimers back. So they get to do for the future law enforcement. And we reveal the next card, which is EarthGov declares an emergency. Flashpoint of 1, so it goes to 4. So it does not start this round or this card. Possibly next card. By the way, it's going to be future law enforcement, and it'll be, of course, Marsgov before Reclaimers. Unless Reclaimers, discard card to go first. All right, so future of law enforcement event card will be corporation. Well, corporation's ineligible, so it will be MarsGov, and then Reclaimers. The events, so the coin event, Directive 1, serve the public good. Place 6 MarsGov troops or 4 EarthGov troops in 1 labyrinth. Increase profits by 3. So, depending, kind of good for both MarsGov and the corporation. And then the insurgents, get the hammers, replace up to 6 MarsGov troops or corporate security with rebels. Okay, so we have MarsGov gets to go first here. Yep, so MarsGov, what they're going to do, I don't think I like the event as much. They're just going to do full operation with special activity. And they're going to pick train. So train lets them do also entrench or transport for special activity. Train is placing troops and bolstering support. Any spaces with MarsGov bases and labyrinths with coin control. So any space that has MarsGov base, so say out here in Tharsis Tholis. And then any labyrinth with coin control, which are Europa, Tenzing, and Shenzhou. They can, for the cost of 3 resources per space, they can place up to 4 troops, which they're going to pick all 3 for sure. So, Europa, Tenzing, Europa, and Shenzhou. And that is a cost of 3 each. That's 3, 6, 9. So they were at what, 27? So they'll drop down to 18. Place up to 4 troops. So, Europa, they want to go ahead and put... Actually, I don't know if they need to do Europa. Hang on, what am I thinking here? Well, they're going to want to be moving eventually here. Let's go ahead and get 4 in Shenzhou. Well, I had a plan here. I'm looking around now. I'm like, Yeah, that's okay. So we'll do 4 there. We'll do 2 in Europa, and we'll do... Shoot. All right. I have a plan. I think I do. I don't think I'm going to do any in Europa, so I'll take my points back. That I'm taking back. Taking that back. I didn't even do it. Taking it back. Too bad. Can't fight me. Playing solo. Do what I want. And then we'll put a few more here because they'll start moving around, taking out people. Taking out the rebels, hopefully, for them. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's it for train. Where is it? Oh, I'm a mess right now. Sorry, guys. Forget it. Let's do that. Let's beef them up. 4, 2. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, so we place troops pacified into 1 space, which is perform up to 2 of house repair or pay 3 resources shift 1 level towards active support in any combination. Oh, I should have picked... Damn, that's why I want to pick Europa. Because I was going to do entrench as well. Shoot, we'll do Tenzing. So what we'll do is we'll take a population and add it to Tenzing. So we will pacify... You can pacify in 1 space. Yep, so Tenzing will add population, which adds 2 active support. 17. And then... now we can do entrench or transport. We can do entrench, which is place bases and fortify troops. So up to 2 spaces with coin control. Desired, replace 1 MarsGov troop with a base. And then you may fortify and remaining MarsGov troops there. Okay, so do Tenzing. So replace 1. Okay, put a base. And now I'm going to fortify. So fortify means I take the troops that are there, MarsGov troops, and place them on the population. They will absorb any damage. So when there would be a damage, it would take out population. It doesn't do that. They are secured with troops. So garrison duty, right? And I could do that in 2 spaces with coin control. I have to be able to put a base, right? I don't have another base. I only have 3. I don't know why MarsGov only gets 3 bases. Anyway, that's it for them. Hobbled through that one. Okay, and now we have second faction here, Reclaimers, right? So limited operation or event or card. They're definitely going to do operation or event. What's the event? Get the hammers, place up to 4, up to 6 MarsGov troops or corporate security with rebels. Jeez. That's a good one too, though. Keep doing events, but that's a really good one. 6 with corporate security or rebels. It's a 6 Mars Gov troops. So, is it only Mars Gov or corporate security? Ooh. So you put rebels there. Here. There. Make a couple spots. Oh man, no, I think I just need to get some more rebels out here and get some more bases going. I think is what I need to do. But we only have a limited operation, huh? So, limited operation. So the nice thing is with the reclaimers is they get to pick multiple places. So limited operation, you can only select one place. They can do select multiple. They can just only use one card to pay for it. Or the event on what's remote base? Hang on. Place a CR base and CR rebels in an unpopulated desert. Flip that base to its inversion center side and draw an asset card. That's actually not a bad idea either. That may be the event we want to play. Place a CR base and 2 CR rebels in an unpopulated desert. Thought we could do the wilderness. Let's do that. So we'll play the event remote base card. Place a CR base and 2 rebels in unpopulated desert. What do you know, wilderness? Flip that base to its conversion center side and draw 1 asset card as well. Nice, not bad. Which is weaponized asteroid event. Holy crap. Catastrophic impact. Place 2 damage in a labyrinth, then remove half the units there. Round it up. Yikes. That's a little brutal, but hey. All right. Sweet. Not too bad. That's it. Yep, that's it. So, Mars Gov and Reclaimers are done. Corporation and Red Dust move over to eligible factions. And next quest we'll move Earth Gov declares emergency over, and then Dust Storm. Dun dun dun. All right, its Dust Storm card is showing, so there won't be flashpoint. Dust Storm card is showing. You place the Haboob card on or token on the current event card to show no recon or march operations. All right, so we're going to play through. So what we're going to do, just so you guys know, I'm going to play through Earth Gov declares emergency here, and then I'm going to do a complete Dust Storm, and then this video will be done. I may have follow-up video gameplay just to show you guys even more of the game, but for sure, we'll get through this one. We'll get through that Dust Storm. Now, I think I forgot to explain, again, a million things going on in this game. The deck of event cards is made up of a whole bunch of event cards, obviously. Some are excluded, so you never know exactly which ones are in the deck. Also, there's 3 Dust Storm cards, and they're spaced apart a certain X amount of cards, and then you never know exactly. So it could be anywhere from 6 to 12 cards before you encounter the Dust Storm. And then again, there's 3 of them. Dust Storm, though, is where we're going to be checking for any victory. Looking at it, I don't see a victory likely to happen unless Red Dust here gets really lucky and is able to get there. Otherwise, nobody else is high enough to gain a victory that I can see. But all right, let's go ahead. Actually, before we get to Dust Storm, though, let's do the Earth Gov declares emergency card and see what happens. All right, so Earth Gov declares emergency. It's going to be the corporation first, then Red Dusters. The events on the card: Mars government supported. The coin event: place 4 supply markers or 4 Earth Gov troops on Earth, then perform an alternate cycler phase, as during a flashpoint round. And then the insurgent option or event is we need a return on investment, which is profits by 5. All right, so the corporation gets to go first, of course. They are going to do some logistics here. So they think they want to do just logistics, or they want to do operation plus special activity. Why not? They'll pick logistics, which is place units, upgrade bases, resolve alternate cycler, right? So picking Earth, they can place up to 4 units, up to max of 1 spec up. So they'll do that. And we'll pick transit, which resolve the Aldrin cycler. So resolving Aldrin cycler, right? Everything in transit moves to Phobos. So the satellites go into orbit. And the population goes over to displaced. No supply markers or anything like that. We can move a population if we want, which is optional right now. Otherwise, we're just going to pick these 4 plus Earth Gov, a total of 5. And then Earth transit, yep, in any deserts. So, in a desert, we can upgrade a core base to terraforming. So we'll go ahead and pick, say, this guy right here. Boom. And then we can pay 3 profit per base after. So we'll go ahead and upgrade, say, this guy right here, which costs us 3, 2, 3, down to 1 profit. And then may place 1 security at each core base, even in labyrinths, at a cost of 1 profit per security placed. Intriguing. Well, we don't really need to do that, I guess, do we? Save our profits. Yeah, we won't worry about that. Okay, so that's it for logistics. So now we can do public relations or exploit. Let's do exploit. So gain profits and remove support or opposition. Location up to 2 bases with a corporation base. No damage and more corp forces than Marska. Or should we do, what's public relations? Repair any number of times, gain 2 profit for each damage removed. Ooh, I like that. Get some more money, huh? Let's do that. So, repair any number of times, gain 2 profits for each damage removed. We pick up to 2 spaces with coin control and security. So, do like, here, speaking of which, I forgot to put out little markers here. Little control markers. My bad, my bad. My bad, my bad. Let's see here. So, here, create mods, we could pick there. Repair, gain 2 profit for each damage removed. So we'll go ahead and repair. Boom. We gain 2 profits. Beautiful. And that was right here. And we can house if we want to. I don't know why we would want to. Each space where repair house occurred. If RD is present, they lose. If CR is present, they lose. Okay, I gotcha. And then we'll do coin control and security. Nope. And we could do, let's do no Truvala here. I think we can do it right here, right? Coin control and security. Yep, let's pick there. Which, it was, did I flip him over? Was he supposed to be a conversion center? Shoot. Anyway, I think I'm going to get him removed here. So hang on. Per annum times, gaining 2 profits. So we will repair. Which does increase the passive opposition for red dust. That's okay. Gain 2 profits for each damage removed. Then may house in 1 select space. Okay, whatever. Each space where a repair house occurred. If party is present, they must discard 1 asset card. Oh, it's an asset card. Shoot. Well, whatever. They have a discard 1. Those because they like weaponized asteroids. So discard that one. Okay, that's it. So now it is the dusters, right? Yep. They had a limited operation or the event. Limited operation. So they're gonna do. Ooh, they had a good plan too, but it ain't gonna work now. Oh, should almost just pass and then go next turn. That's what they're gonna do. So they're gonna pass. So gain 1 resource. It doesn't seem like much, but what they were gonna do, and then will in the future, is do a campaign, which is bolster opposition and build momentum. Basically, you're activating rebels. You're shifting everything towards opposition, which, considering they're the closest, they're trying to get as much as they can here, and maybe they can get a victory by, well, it ain't going to be by this dust storm, maybe by the next one. Okay, so that is it. So what we do is we move these 2 back to eligible. Corporation goes to ineligible, and now Red Duster, though, he stays eligible because he only passed. This card is done, so it would be the next card, which, however, this time is the Dust Storm. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how the Dust Storm goes. Again, it's kind of a big sort of turn, really resets a lot of things, and kind of sets things up for the next round of event cards. All right, Dust Storm. Let's go ahead and run through the Dust Storm card. It's going to be the victory phase, resources phase, support phase, redeploy phase, and reset phase. All right, let's begin with the victory phase. Corporate casualties, reduce profits by 1 for each corporation base in casualties, and 1 for every 2 in casualties. There are none, neither casualty or EarthGov. EarthGov casualties, there are none. Move all the forces in casualties to available, and all satellites there to Earth. Displaced population penalty, reduce MarsGov resources by 3 and corporation profits by 1 for every 2 population markers in the displaced population box. There are none. Then you check for victory conditions. If any faction has met its victory conditions, the game ends, and you figure out who wins. Otherwise, you continue the round. Looking at the track, you can see Red Dust is currently leading. They are the closest to winning. Mars Gov is behind them. The Reclaimers here, they're not too far away, except remember for them, it's all their bases plus controlled versus enemy bases. So it's take a while to catch up or get ahead. And then last but not least, of course, the corporations, they only have a profit of 3 right now. They need to get all the way up to 36, so not doing so hot. But they're more of a slow burn faction anyway, because they need to kind of build up their engine of terraforming bases to get more profits. And then along with actions and operations and special activities that give them profits. So, long story short, nobody has won yet. Okay, resources phase. All right, the Martian government earnings. Mars Gov gains resources equal to the population of spaces with coin control and no opposition. And that's it. They gain 8. So they were at 18, so they go up to 26. Corporate profits, increase profits by 2 per corporation base in a labyrinth. So 1. I think that was it, right? Yep. So only 2. Remember, it's during the flashpoint round that they gain resources for all these bases that are terraforming centers that are out in the desert. Red Dust earnings, increase Red Dust resources by the population at active opposition at plus Red Dust bases on Mars. Population at active. Increase Red Dust resources by, I'm kind of rereading this, population at active opposition plus Red Dust bases. All right, so they have 7 bases, and then at active opposition will be like here, so 1, 2, so 7, 8, 9. And that's it. Yeah, because they have a lot of passive. So 9. So they were at 10, so they go up to 19. Then Reclaimer earnings. Reclaimer draws asset cards as shown on the available bases track. So you guys can't really see it, but on the track, I want to mess it up. See? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. You see 4 visible cards. So they get the capabilities, couple capabilities, couple resource cards. So very nice. Support phase, pacify. In each space with coin control, Mars Gov may perform up to 2 house, repair, or pay resources shift phone level towards active support in any combination. With coin control, or pay 3 resources. That's not a bad idea, actually. So, for instance, they could say right here in each space with coin control, Mars Gov may perform up to 2 pay through. So, for instance, 2, 3, and move this towards support. Any combination. Which gives them 1 support. Has to be coin control, though, for sure. Ooh, I'll pay 3 resources there. 1, 2, 3. Which they don't gain support, but the Red Dust loses their support, loses the opposition. So that's 3 down. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. And let's see. Anywhere else? I think they're good. Yeah, they're good for now. Okay. Lobby. Mars Gov may pay 5 resources to improve Earth Gov confidence once for maximum 1 shift. Oh, they'll definitely do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Confidence goes up to the top corp one. So 1 more, and they're going to be, Earth Gov will be in Mars Gov control. And then agitate in each space with Red Dust control. Red Dust may perform up to 2 of house, repair, or pay 1 resource shift phone level towards active position. A combination. So Red Dust control. So they'll do it here. So that is, they'll spend 1 resource. And push goes up. Here they'll do it, which causes Mars Gov to lose support. Costs a resource as well. Do it over here. De Le Plenum, which gains 1 and costs 1. And they'll do it, there's red dust control. So right here as well. Cyanide planar. So gain 1, spend a resource, and gain 1. I'll do it over here in Gandhi, which will gain them 2. It'll cost 1, and gain them 2. Jeez, look at that. Right back up there, huh? And then finally over here in Alpheus Colas, they'll spend 1 over and gain 1 there. Oh yeah, they're gonna be sitting pretty next bunch of cards here. Okay, that's it for support phase. Redeploy phase. Remove all store markers. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, and gotta go. Is that all of them? Oh, right there. Redeploy forces as follows. Do not adjust control until all redeployment is complete. EarthGov controller moves all EarthGov troops on Mars to Phobos or spaces with MarsGov bases. So the corporation controls EarthGov troops to Phobos, so he'll go ahead and move them to Phobos. So here. Basically, since they are the EarthGov troops, right, it's a little bit of recall. Okay, reorganize here. Phobos. It's good for them anyway, because they can put them where they need to. Martian government to deploy. MarsGov must move MarsGov troops from deserts without coin bases, and may move other MarsGov troops to labyrinths with coin control or spaces with MarsGov bases. So, I don't think anyone is out. They have a base there. Desert. That's the only, and here they have a base there, so they're good. Red Dust to redeploy. Red Dust must move Red Dust rebels from deserts without either opposition or bases, and may move the rebels to spaces with bases. So, where are they on the desert? Good. Because they have opposition. They're good, so they don't have to worry. And then Church of the Reclaimer. First, Reclaimer may move any CR bases to the wilderness. Then, okay. Actually, kind of like that. You know, go ahead and move this guy out of there. He's no good there. And then, him as well. Yeah, might as well. All right. Then may move CR rebels to any spaces with CR bases as desired. Well, I'm gonna get him out of there. And right there. Okay. Reset phase. This was a third Dust Storm round. Play ends immediately. Victory is determined. It's not. It's only the first one. So, adjust population markers on Earth to match EarthGov confidence value. So it'd be 4 population, I guess? I think. There'd be 3 of them. Or excuse me, we added 3, so there's a total of 4, I believe. Okay. Hide all rebels and spec up. So basically we're flipping them all, right? So remember when you have sort of the active side where you can see the icon. So everyone gets flipped over. And then remove all active campaign cards. Yep, so the prison labor revolt, which I half forgot to use. I know I used it at least once. So again, when you're playing alone, solo, and you have a game that's fairly heavy with a lot of rules and a lot of moving parts, it's sometimes a little hard to keep track of everything. But we do our best. We do what we can, right? All right, so the spec ops and all the rebels are flipped over to their inactive or hidden side. Perfect. Remove all active cards. We did that. Shuffle the discarded asset cards into the asset deck. Okay. No problem there. Mark all factions eligible. So now everyone kind of restarts. Reveal the top card of the draw deck and move it to this card pile to become the new current event card. Then reveal a new event card from the top of the draw deck, ignoring flashpoint icons. So Spaceport Strikes and the Martians. Reset the flashpoint track to 0. Oh, so that does hurt the corporation there. Total up the value of the flashpoint icons on the new current event, next event, and make that many Dust Storm rolls. So it's 2 and 2, so total of 4. So we have 4. Take 4 of the storm icons and start rolling. 2 and 6, which will be Arabia Terra and Shenzhou. 5 and 3, which will be Hellas Planitia, and where's 3? Boom, Hellas Chaos. 2 and 3, Arabia Terra and Rodell, and finally 5 and 2 Jalapenios, and then Cornet Montes. Okay. Continue play with the current event. So we would go to Spaceport Strikes, Red Dust first, and then the Corp. So Mars, Gov, and Reclaimers will be left out for and then go with the next card, unless the Reclaimers discard some of their asset cards to go ahead and jump ahead and get the jump on people. So that is, I'm ending the video here. I may continue in another video. I don't know for sure, because I'm doing a bunch of editing on this one and, you know, throw some stuff in there to help you guys out as we went. But that was Red Dust Rebellion, at least through the first Dust Storm round. I'm sure I made some mistakes. That's okay. If you see them, comment below. Just let everyone know. That's totally fine. There's a lot to this game. I know I made mistakes, and that's okay. I'm trying to make as few as I can, but especially in a game with this many moving parts and this much going on, it's unfortunately kind of easy to do, especially when you're playing Solitaire. So know when to catch the mistakes live or, you know, while I'm playing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope this helped you get an idea of what Red Dust Rebellion is like. You know, you are, you know, every turn you have factions available to take actions. You know, are they placing their forces on Mars? Are they revealing either rebels, or are they attacking rebels? Are they attacking the government forces, the troops, taking control of areas, influencing opposition or support, right? So gaining the public of Mars, gaining their favor, just trying to build up, you know, opposition and bases, support and EarthGov confidence, eliminating enemy bases, building up your own bases and controlled areas, or getting profits. So every faction has a little bit different goal. They're going to push against certain other factions more and certain other factions less. But everyone kind of, hopefully, right, balances out a little bit. So let me know what you think of my video in this game. And of course, if you made it this far, I really would appreciate subscription. It's free. Just click the subscribe button. You don't have to watch all my videos. Just watch the ones that you like, that you are interested in, and comment below and let me know what you think. But otherwise, until next time, everybody, later.